Um, yep. One of those is blood, one of those is paint. The paint was from when I was painting, and the blood is from when I was bleeding. I did cut myself accidentally and took the opportunity to get a few samples of that and see. What we have here is just plain old 3% hydrogen peroxide, and I want to see what it does to this dried sample. Ooh, pretty quickly starts to oxidize it. Why did it not get on that little bit right there? There we go, okay. That's way more than we needed. We did a test already to see that it seems like hydrogen peroxide does not bleach fabric, even at concentrations at or approaching 50%, which is a pretty cool thing. But I want to see, this has been left to dry for like a week. Is that about right? Yeah, about a week. And so, what is that going to look like here when it has sat? And I suppose we can leave it for, I don't know, another couple of minutes. Why be in a rush, right? All right, so this is just water. Well, actually, let's put some more on there, huh? So that might be about as good as it's gonna get with 3%, but we'll wash this, rinse it out, and see if we get anything, if we can get anything else from it. I mean, that's not bad, right? It's there, obviously, but it's a lot less noticeable than it was. I forgot I have the water running. For our next trick, we have now white cloth, and I should go ahead and pour this on before it gets too sogged up. This is, same thing, blood sample, 12%. No, don't get on. Should have thought of that. Let me actually cut it. That's silly. Should have thought of that. So, 12% hydrogen peroxide. White cloth now. See what we can do. What are we seeing so far? Boy, it appears in some spots, kind of here-ish, to be almost completely gone. Still obviously a stain. But, you know, not that bad. Wouldn't wear it to an important meeting or anything. Oops. Gonna have to get rid of that paper under it. Again, it doesn't look great. But it looks a lot better. It looks a lot better than it did. I feel like it looks less. I would say this: it looks, obviously it's a lot less noticeable, but it looks like less of a blood stain and more of just maybe could be passable as a food stain, right? Like if you got, I don't know. So I think that's gonna be it for that. We can leave it for a bit longer maybe. All right, again, we'll wash this one out, see if there's anything we can do about it, see how it turns out when it dries. We're going to only use very little of this. I guess I could actually wipe that dry first. So, here is our third and final sample. So we did 3%, 12%, and now this is 50%. And, you know, who would have this at home to just play with? But let's see what it does. Very white. You can see the cotton is actually lifted off the plastic because of all of the gas being released above and under it. So it's got this kind of action going on. Let's see. Has it already instantly done more than most of the others have? I should say these are all equally old. These are all from a week ago. I'm interested what's happening around the edges there. Is that just an artifact from there being more gas under it, a bubble under it, or why does it look very dark around the edges and then yellow in the middle? sort of more pronounced than the others were. Right? Odd. Leave it for a bit, see what happens. So there's some kind of oxidation something going on that says that the iron or the hemoglobin or whatever it is that's being oxidized gets more noticeable, that yellow color, when it's oxidized more strongly, and would thus best be avoided. So there's a sweet spot somewhere between 12 and 50, I guess. You keep pouring it on here, but I think we just rinse it and move on with our lives. We'll see what they all look like when they're dried. So this one is first. This is the only one that's on blue cloth, and it's our 3%. Obviously, you can still see there's a stain there, but you know, I mean, we're you can see the size of the button. This is a men's shirt button. Obviously, the stain is not that big, and if you were, you know, from however far away that was, it's certainly far less obvious than it was initially. So 3%, pretty good. 12% also pretty good. Again, in comparison with the size of the shirt button, this is, you know, coin-sized, quarter-sized maybe, US quarter. It's almost in like we looked at earlier, a couple of these places here where it's like almost completely disappeared, but it still has kind of this ring around the side. Again, farther away, it's certainly not as noticeable, but this, you know, this kind of stain still has ruined a shirt. Interestingly, now the 50% is more pronounced than the 12. This ring, this Antarctica shaped thing, it's darker. It's darker here in the middle. It's got more of this pronounced tan rather than just a faint yellow, and that border is much stronger around the outside. I don't know if that has something to do with maybe it would have been better to start in the middle and move out, or to start out and work in, or worth noting that I did not even try to rinse. I let all of the stains completely dry, did not even try to rinse them before using hydrogen peroxide. So they were caked on and dried, and that's obviously a pretty difficult stain to remove, but these are the results: 3, 12, 50.